If you're gonna train for London, you have to do it right. Just go nice and easy, see if you can make it all the way around.
You think you can run a 4.7 mile again?
I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't. I don't run to run. I run to win.
Louis Zamperini's real-life story
Perfect. Moving on. Nice job, guys. Thank you.
is made for the movies. He was an Olympic distance runner, a World War II veteran, and a surviving prisoner of war.
You will never escape me. Wherever you go, I will find you.
Are you sleeping well? Are you having any night sweats or nightmares?
I just thought I'd be able to forget everything.
I want to go home.
There is no home.
His story returns to the big screen in Unbroken: Path to Redemption, a long-awaited follow-up to Angelina Jolie's 2014 epic war drama, Unbroken.
We have nighttime sky, right?
Harold Kronk directs this film, alongside producer Matthew Baer, who worked with Jolie on the first film.
The first film was a horrific, tragic story of his fight for his life, and the second film is his struggle to save his soul.
There's nobody more inspirational than Lou Zamperini, especially as portrayed in the film, with all of the terrible things that he goes through.
When I was a kid, I lived near Torrance.
Are you kidding me?
You still have the scars from where those runners spiked you?
Yeah, they got me pretty good.
And that?
Jap did that one.
This chapter introduces audiences to Louis' Cynthia.
Hey, would you like to?
Yes. What took you so long to ask?
The war is over, but are we seeing a war play out on screen in this family's life?
Oh, yes, we are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes,
I
yes,
mean,
yes.
he physically left prison, but he's very much in prison in his head, and
Yeah.
it causes a lot of struggle between the two of them.
Yeah, yeah. What's nice about this, too, is that oftentimes you'll see war movies, and then they try and... It's very important to show the human element of war films so that people can relate to the experience that, let's be honest, most of us will never have or have never had. What's nice about this movie is that it's a human experience that we've all had in some form or some capacity.
He said that we were at war, but it didn't feel like war, Not to me. It wasn't until I was stationed in San Diego. One day, this hospital ship comes steaming in. They were carrying all these guys, missing legs and arms. They were all torn up, blind, burnt. That's when the war became real to me.
Luke, how would you describe this chapter of your dad's life and seeing it on the screen?
This is the climax of the story of my father's life. All that he went through before with the athletics and the Olympics and the life raft and the prison camp. The climax is when, after him spiraling out of control with post-traumatic stress disorder, that he's able to come to faith on that evening in October 1949 and change his life. It is the climactic part of his entire story.
With vintage cars like this pretty red Ford, the stage is set for the 1940s. A young Lou Zamperini and his wife Cynthia are coming here to the tent you see in the distance to hear from a young evangelist who has not quite made a name for himself on the national scene.
I do not believe that any man can solve the problems of life.
Evangelist Billy Graham, whose grandson Will portrays him in the film.
I believe that God is still healing hearts. I believe that God is still transforming lives.
I feel like if you close your eyes and don't look, you really think you're listening to Billy Graham.
That's the way it was when we first met with him. That was what Harold and I spoke about, was
we watched the screen test, and Matt couldn't believe it. He sounds exactly like his dad.
Yeah, it was just fantastic.
But there's a lifeline. Just reach out.
I knew the story from Unbroken. I knew the story from my granddaddy's tales. So I know the story pretty well. And I've seen the movie, and every time I see it, I've seen it about 3 or 4 times now, every time I see it, I'm crying.
That camp meeting also began a lasting relationship.
They had a great friendship, lasted a whole lifetime, 2 lifetimes really. And but it just, we're grateful how God brought these 2 men together.
Ephraim Graham, CBN News, Los Angeles.